This guy was the son of a plumber. He did not look like an athlete, and he definitely did not look like a world champion. But when this man grabbed a microphone, he was untouchable. In a sport full of giant, muscular superheroes, Dusty Rhodes looked like a totally normal guy. So how did he become one of the biggest stars ever?
You know what baby doll is, Arn Anderson? She's in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania right now at this very second. Personally bringing the cage in and putting up herself. Because tonight you're going to find out what it's all about when your leg cracks.
This is the story of how Dusty Rhodes used just a microphone to become a legend. You will not believe how Dusty's words were so powerful until you understand the man himself. He wasn't what you'd expect from a pro wrestler. He looked like the guy who would fix your car, not win a world title. He was billed as the son of a plumber, and that was the secret to his success. What he didn't have in muscles, he had in charisma. So much charisma, it was basically a superpower. Even the chairman of WWE said that no wrestler had more charisma than Dusty Rhodes. That's a compliment. It was this good, natural talent that let him connect with millions of fans across America. They saw themselves in him. He was their guy fighting in the ring. And this wasn't an accident. He was a genius. Behind the scenes, he was the head writer, crafting emotional stories you've ever seen. He knew exactly how to make people cheer for the underdog and hate the rich, arrogant villain. And guess who he usually made the ultimate underdog? Himself. You could call that a huge ego, and you'd be right. But it worked. His rivals might have looked better, but Dusty had thousands of screaming fans on his side. He became a 3-time NWA World Champion, which is incredible, even though his first championship win only lasted 5 days. He proved that in wrestling, heart and passion can beat muscles every single time. So what was the secret? What made his promos an absolute must-see event? It was the perfect combination of 3 things that made him unstoppable. First, it was pure passion. When Dusty spoke, you believed every word because he believed every word. He wasn't reading a script. It was 100% real, raw emotion. This authenticity was his trademark. You can see it in his face. He could tell an entire story without saying anything. Next was the relatability. He didn't use weird wrestling slang. He talked about real-life problems. He talked about paying bills, losing your job, and fighting for your family. He presented himself as the champion of the people, fighting against the rich and powerful. The fans felt like he was one of them, fighting their battles. The final piece was his delivery. It was like music. He had a unique rhythm that would build and end with an unforgettable line. He created phrases like, "Get funky like a monkey," that fans would chant every night. He wasn't just talking, he was creating legendary catchphrases that people still use today. On October 29, 1985, Dusty Rhodes delivered what might be the single greatest promo in the history of wrestling. And the craziest part? It wasn't in a giant stadium. There was no giant light show. It was just Dusty and a microphone in a tiny room. This promo, Hard Times, became his masterpiece. Here's what was happening. His enemy, Ric Flair, had just broken his ankle. This was Dusty's first time back on TV before their massive championship match. He started off quiet. Then he exploded. With fire in his eyes, he screamed,
"I wanted Ric Flair, the world's heavyweight champion!"
But then he did something no one expected. He looked right down the camera and said,
"Don't know what hard times are, Daddy."
He then started talking about the recession in America, about people losing their jobs to machines. Then he delivered the most legendary line of his career.
"In hard times are when a man has worked at a job 30 years. 30 years. They give him a watch, kick him in the butt, and say, 'Hey, a computer took your place, Daddy.' That's hard time."
In that one moment, he became the voice for millions of people. He then connected all of that to his wrestling match, blaming Ric Flair for putting hard times on this country. He wasn't just fighting for a title, he was fighting to give people hope. It was genius. He even pointed out his own body, saying,
"Belly's just a little big, my hand is just a little big, but brother, I am bad and they know I'm bad."
The end was unbelievable. He reached his hand out to the camera, to every person watching at home, and said,
"My hand is touching your hand for this gathering of the biggest body of people in this country, in this universe, all over the world now." Because I will be the next world's heavyweight champion on this Hard Time Blues.
Every single fan felt like they were part of his team. Hard Times is the masterclass. It's perfect. That Hard Times promo was a nuclear bomb in the middle of the greatest rivalry in wrestling history. Dusty Rhodes versus Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen. This was a battle between two completely different lifestyles. On one side, you had Ric Flair, the definition of rich and arrogant. He had custom suits, Rolex watches, and private jets, and he told everyone about it. He was the guy everyone loved to hate. On the other side was Dusty, the American Dream, the son of a plumber, the hero for every person who had to work for a living. The difference between them was incredible, and their promos were like pouring gasoline on a fire. Flair would make fun of Dusty's body. Dusty would fire back with speeches about passion and hard work. He famously said, "I've wined and dined with kings and queens, and I've slept in alleys eating pork and beans." And the crowd would go insane. The Four Horsemen would cheat to help Flair win, attacking Dusty and breaking his bones. These attacks just made the fans love Dusty even more. They needed him to win. The rivalry got so huge that Dusty invented a new match to end it all. War Games, a giant two-ring steel cage match. Their battles are legendary, and at Starrcade 85, Dusty pinned Flair. But the referee reversed the decision. The feud never ended. It was Dusty's incredible promos that made this more than just wrestling. It was a story about good versus evil. At his peak, Dusty was the king. As the main writer, he created the most popular era in the company's history. He put himself in the main event, but he also made other wrestlers into huge stars. But in 1989, he made the shocking move to his rival, WWE. And the owner, Vince McMahon, did something insane. He took the toughest, most real wrestler in the world and put him in a ridiculous black outfit with giant yellow polka dots. They made videos of him working as a plumber and a butcher. Most people thought this was a massive insult, a joke to humiliate him. They almost never let him challenge for the world title. It was a huge test. And yet, even in polka dots, Dusty was a megastar. His charisma was too powerful, his promos were too good. He proved that the person is more important than the costume. He still got massive cheers and proved that true charisma can never, ever be stopped. The polka dots were supposed to be a joke, but Dusty got the last laugh. Dusty's influence on wrestling is absolutely massive. When you ask who the greatest talker of all time is, Dusty is always in the top 3, and Hard Times is considered the GOAT of promos. He proved a promo could be a work of art. Huge stars like Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock were clearly inspired by his style. He showed that being yourself is the best character you can be. Beyond that, Dusty was a legendary mentor. He took a guy named Diamond Dallas Page and helped turn him into a world champion. DDP says, "Without Dusty Rhodes, there is no Diamond Dallas Page." Later, he became the main teacher at WWE's training facility, NXT. A huge number of today's biggest stars, Roman Reigns, Becky Lynch, Kevin Owens, are all known as Dusty's kids. His creativity was also insane. He invented the War Games match, which is still used today. He was also the manager for Ron Simmons when he became the first ever recognized Black World Heavyweight Champion in WCW, a groundbreaking moment for the entire industry. But his biggest legacy is that his message never gets old. Decades later, people still quote the Hard Times promo when talking about real-world problems. Dusty proved that wrestling can be about more than just wrestling. Dusty Rhodes set a standard that almost no one has ever reached. His ability to connect with everyday people was unbelievable. But I want to know what you think. Who is the single greatest talker in wrestling history? Tell me in the comments below. What made Dusty the greatest promo man ever wasn't just his voice or his catchphrases. It was his soul. He put 100% of himself into his words, turning real-life struggles into legendary stories of hope. He made wrestling about life. He was the underdog, the everyman, the hero who would never, ever quit. He proved that the American dream wasn't about being perfect. It was about having the heart of a champion and the voice of the people. And because of that, his voice is eternal.